Italian fortune, the treasurer office, says, go and live under the carob trees, God was just a chest. And she said, there is much more honor, much more honesty under the carob trees than in the palaces of the rich people. and became the title of the chest under the carob trees. And it was one of our great success. I mean, it was a huge success. And then I wanted to go to Cyprus with that play, and I said, Stavros, write another play so we can take 2 plays. So he came within 20 days, he wrote The Immigrant, which was
based on my mum's family.
Is it?
Yeah.
I want to get the script for these.
Yeah, but George has got them somewhere. They're in English as well.
Yes.
Really
Could we have a look at the script?
yes, yes, I mean, yeah, come round. And, come round, because we've got them all.
Come together.
And we went to Cyprus in 1963. We didn't have any money, so we chartered a flight. In those days, you chartered a flight. We got in touch with an airline, and we filled all the seats. It was about how many seats? 200.
We went with the Cyprus Brotherhood. My dad became chairman.
Right.
We managed to get everyone on cheap flights.
And then we found another group.
That way the theatre went as well.
We found another group from Cyprus to fill the other when they're coming back. So in that way, we went to Cyprus free, the whole company. It was about 20-25 people. We went free.
I went. I was the Your mother was with us. My mother was with us.
Yes, and your father came at that time. Yes.
Did he come? I can't remember.
It was 1968.
John would have been with us, but he wasn't in the play.
John was. We've got some photographs at the Unity Theatre where it's you playing children.
I was about 7, so it was very early 60s.
John was in it as well.
No, I was about 9, but playing a 7-year-old, so it would have been 62, somewhere like that.
68
we might have gone again. It was the first time I was there. 62. But I remember once, I was thinking about today, we had one person in the audience, and I can't remember how many were in the cast, and all of us wanted to go home, and George wasn't having any of it. One person turned up, we were going to do the play. And we did the play for the one person in the audience. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do, yes.
He wasn't having the man go away disappointed. He's here, we do it. That was that.
Well, this is it. I mean, this is, you have to continue to serve the theatre yourself. So, it was a huge success in Cyprus. The Cypriots were shocked that there was a theatre started in and presented this kind of plays, and so we did it on the radio, and then we did Metanastis and Immigrant on television, and they became part
Is it still playing now on television, The Immigrant?
Yes, it was done. The old suitcase, Anna Vicente, and also the characters. It was. Have you seen that?
No.
Well, they are done properly. RIC is the Broadcasting Corporation of Cyprus, and they got this.
Do you have a copy of them?
Yes, we do.
Love to see them.
So yes, and they were a huge success.
They've actually become part of the culture, of the
Yes,
kind of literary
that's
culture
right, and
of
became,
the Cypriots.
I mean, we did it
It's
many
up there.
times here, again and again and again and again. And of course, Stavros died in 1972. 71. And that was, he wanted to publish his plays. So we arranged with the printer, and I took the correct, he was in hospital, I took the corrections and eventually he published them. I think
You published them before he
yes,
died?
he looked like we presenting it.
What did he say to you when you go?
In the Muthelis.
He was asking,
What do you want?
Yeah, because
In the
he
Muthelis. I said, I don't want anything.
was so interested.
My dad was such a cynic. George was never into making money. And Dad wanted to be rich on his writing.
Yeah, this is,
and they just couldn't get on with that at all.
You know,
George was for the art, Dad was for the cash.
This is, you know, the problem, the contradiction. There, a man who wrote a play like this, and then he went in the other direction. You know, he wanted to. Perhaps he felt that he had a long to live. I mean, some of those things.
But I remember he
You know.
used to invite people from the embassy and all. He was insisting, have to give them the best seats at the front. I said, why? Who are they? He says, but this is the people who are going to bring others. I said, for God's sake, they come free and they are going without bring anybody. You know, he was thinking that they were.
Come and meet the daughter of Lillitos and his grandchildren. Everybody. This is Priscilla, who is the daughter of the director, and David.
Family.
Well done.
Hello, you were on the second phone? Oh, hi. Where are you visiting? Oh, excuse me. Come on.
This is Priscilla.
Nice to meet you.
This is Jack and Harry.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Great.
Well done, yeah, it's great. I enjoyed it there.
Great.
I'll never go to church again.
So what do you think?
Great. I didn't even know. I was talking to George, a few months ago, because a Greek academic wants to put my dad's Greek plays into a book and write about him and a couple of other Greek playwrights. I think it's probably going to go on the
I think we should
syllabus.
perform your, what is it, your father?
Yeah.
Yeah, we should perform in Trafalgar Square tomorrow.
Yeah.
We'll have a big demonstration
Good
against
one.
Gaza and
Good one.
we should have a play there. We should have a whole play there.
You could translate the different movements, couldn't you? Quite easily. Same thing. And George told me about this other play, because I was saying, what other Greek play do you know about? And he didn't. He said, but there is an English one. And he dug it up. He had it all the time. I never did. And it's the first time I've seen it. I didn't know what to expect. It was brilliant. You did extremely well. It was a very, very well performed play. And a very good play. And very current in this way, isn't it?
So we need an audience.
Yeah. No, I've got more people that want to come. I'm going to bring some people, George. I would have brought them tonight, but because it's the last night with all of us, because he's going off travelling, I'm going to come again and bring some friends who've already indicated they want to see it.
Priscilla was about 8 when we started?
7, I think.
7 years old. She was in the first production we did under the canopy.
He used to carry me on his back. That's how long ago it was. He used to give me a piggyback. So it was great, yeah.
I say thank you to everybody. I mean, neither of us have ever met our grandparents, and it's about as close I think as we were ever going to get to. So.
He was dead before they were born, before I was married.
Yeah, thank you.
Pete does some acting as well.
And how did you feel seeing the play?
Huh?
How did you feel seeing the play tonight?
It's meaty. There's a lot in it. That's probably one of the hardest plays I've ever seen to act.
It's very difficult.
It's very difficult because there's a lot to squeeze in 2 hours. I mean, it could have actually gone even longer than that, I think. But you crammed it in really well. Really well. Yeah. Very.
You liked it?
Very.
He's probably got a different take on it.
No, that's a hard. It's a really hard play to act. It's hard. So if I had a hat, I would take it off. I might even borrow it today. I'd take my hat off. That was fantastic.
He'd be so proud to see his grandkids here and his son-in-law.
And George, as the director, producer, what leads you to want to stage this play at this time?
Well, as Priscilla said, I mean, somebody was interested to publish, and then about 2 months ago, and of course I realized that it was topical with the what's happening around us today with the economic crisis, with the crash, the credit crash, and the housing market collapsing, and the whole economy, the banking system. It is a recession like the 1929 recession, which the play was based in the 30s, because it affected every country in the world, including Greece, and the rise of the new challenging movement for socialism and new ideas which were inspired by the Russian Revolution. And at the same time, the rise of fascism. We have Mussolini in Italy, Hitler in Germany, and Franco in France, and in order to oppress the rise of communism, which was a new idea. And I thought, it was right to do that. And as you know, we did a play reading in October, and I wanted to do it properly. Although we don't have money, we managed to get the young actors together and did it.
So it is a labor of love, and people won't know that this is done because very much you wanted to stage it.
Of course, it was always there. I mean, I staged all the plays by Lillitos that he wrote, but that was the only one that I didn't. And I didn't think it was right when I read it the first time. And but now it's a very powerful piece of theater. And Nikos Shefkalis, the son of Efthymios Shefkalis, the father of Efthymios Shefkalis, is translating it to Greek. And we hope to do it in Greek and take it to Greece. And also a French girl, Audrey, is translated to French. And I think there is a lot of future for this play. And maybe organize a tour. Eh? What do you think? Organizing a tour, a European tour.
You pay for the hotels, George, yeah?
You
pay for the hotels?
Well, we can find somebody to sponsor us.
My father was so anti-Zionist, you cannot believe it. I probably shouldn't say it, but he was absolutely anti-Zionist. And I don't think anything would give him more pleasure than to see this play performed on that one.
Thank you, Sam.
One more camera, please. You happy with it? Oh, yes, lovely, thank you. Oh, lovely, yes, thank you.
Push the button, it's easy, isn't it?
I've got lots of friends who want to come and see this. Because it's our last night. We should.
Cheers. Oh, no, I can't see anything. That's not going to work there. I really can't see anything. Thank you very much. That's great. That's perfect. I'm sure it's fine.
Not two now.
I've got a brother in Australia, in Melbourne. Yes, a twin brother in Melbourne.
Twin? I didn't know that, George.
Of course. Well, when he was 16.
Oh my
And
God,
he
how long
married.
since you've seen it?
I saw him in Cyprus about 4 years ago. He came a couple of times in London, and his daughter and granddaughter, and
I know you had a twin.
oh yes. So we must take this play to Australia
Yes, I think so.
to show the other half of your.
There's a lot of Greeks in Melbourne.
We'll have to get George and that out there. You'll have to get an Australian cast.
Do you think Archbishop Gregorios might finance it?
I tell you who could help us here so much.
Archbishop?
The Archbishop.
Fake cat.
Sorry, that was a joke, George.
Well, I don't know if you could, but
Someone like George.
I mean, I should invite you to come and see.
It would be interesting.
Yeah, see what he says. Yeah. I mean, it's obvious that this play was written when he was only 32, and it was at the peak of his youth and his ideology at that time when he was had no family, you know, married.
Yeah, he married 33.
Yeah, but
I was born when he was 33.
yeah, but he was under
52 was the year I was born, yeah. Well, he married my mother, thinking she'd keep quiet, look after him and let him write. Did he ever get that wrong?
Especially the grandmother, you know, the mother-in-law, he says,
He hated her with such a passion.
yes, if
He
you
couldn't
read
stand her.
The Immigrant,
written
it is
about.
autobiographical.
And he knows Stella through the play. She was one of the characters in the play.
The grandmother who put on the play, it's fabulous.
She was there, that's where the line comes from. Men are like pets, you have to train them. And that's the line he gave my grandmother, explaining to her daughters that they weren't managing their men correctly.
He says in the line that in our family, the grandmother says, the men go first. But it was, and it was produced within 20 days because I wanted the play to take to Cyprus. And it was very funny and also very
It's amazing to write a play in 20 days.
very tragic because he put an old man, an old immigrant who came into Britain in the early 30s, and he worked very hard, and he was a tenant in the house, and he had nothing really. He just an old suitcase, and in the suitcase there was a pair of pants, an onion,
And that was it.
and a piece of bread.
That was all he had.
Yes. And there was another character, Lillitos, who was ambitious to make money, and he calculated the man. He found out that the man died in the hospital, and he knew that there was a suitcase there, and he got the old lady to bring the suitcase out, and planning to share the hundreds and thousands of pounds that they were in the suitcase. And eventually, they opened the suitcase, and this pair of pants
And an onion and a piece of bread.
piece of bread and onion appeared, you know, and that was
It's called Valitsa, but
Yes,
made an
the old-
aspect thing.
the-
They
the
called it
old-
the old suitcase. But my dad had a really ironic sense of humor.
yeah.
He was a man who really understood the sort of multiplicities of life and different opinions. And in his own way, he was like a fragmented character, like a mirror that breaks into lots of things. You know how in that Enter the Dragon, you see the guy and it goes around and around. He was like that. Every single one of those characters was a piece of him. He thought all of those things and he could never make his mind up which was the right way to go. He was basically an idealist who became very disenchanted with humanity, and in the end couldn't hang on to anything. Just didn't believe in anybody, became cynical, became bitter, and terribly disappointed with life. But he wouldn't be disappointed now.
No.
The one thing he wanted more than anything was to go on through his writing and to be known and respected.
Yeah, and anyone's free.
And it was the last conversation
Good
he
night,
ever had.
everybody. See you tomorrow.
Well done.
Yeah, it was the conversation he had on his deathbed, George.
Yeah, I know.
The last words.
Yeah.
The doctor said to him, "I'm sure, Mr. Lillitos, your plays will be very famous, or you will be very, very." I can't remember. And my dad said, he smiled. This is hours before he died. He said, "You really think so?" And that was all he wanted, to know that his name lived on, because he didn't have enough of life. He didn't live long enough. And he was bitterly disappointed. He thought he'd marry a quiet village girl who'd make his tea and make his meals. Even in that play you saw facets of it. The women were sent off to do the work, the bidding of the men. And he was like that, right till he died. The women were there to serve the men. That's all he could see.
It was a very chauvinist society.
Incredible
Men
chauvinist.
He grew up in a village, Yalus, where the women had a particular position in the society. They're mothers and wives, and that's it.
And he thought that if he married this village girl, this simple village girl, she'd look after him and let him write. Of course, she was schizophrenic. He never had any peace his whole marriage. She burned one of his plays, didn't she?
Yes.
She actually put
She
one
used
in
to
a
say, Idanjo Jerusalem was your father's writer. The only place that he could go and find peace to write was the toilet. He used to go and sit in the toilet writing, you know, because...
and lock the door.
Yeah.
So it's going to be on again next week as well? It's on next week.
It's on next week. I'm going to bring some people.
I'll come back again next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to bring some
I'd like to
people.
watch it again. I'll bring some other friends.
I
gonna
didn't
read
know
the
what
history
to
book first.
expect.
I'm going to read the history book first.
Yes. Well,
No, we will bring people, definitely. Can you really perform it in Trafalgar Square?
no, it's impossible.
Shame.
It was a metaphor.
Yeah, it's a metaphor. I think it needs a theatre, I think, to perform because it's the quiet scenes, you know, very quiet scenes and intimate scenes that you don't need to shout. There's not a play that you can be performed in Trafalgar Square. You know, it's even in a small theatre like this, it's not audible sometimes when the actors. It's an easy. The first part is just to present this comfortable bourgeois middle-class family surrounded by the church, very comfortable, and they have this old young man who is a Che Guevara, you know, a revolutionary, and they don't understand him, and eventually they all go behind him. That is the story, really.
I thought it was the two brothers at war, but actually it's the father and the son that was at war.
Yes, I mean the central figure really is the father. Is a change of the father who is against the son, and he had different dreams for the son. He wanted him to be a priest, actually.